Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, which of course does include the bank holiday weekend because of the coronation. And at the moment, it is not looking great. It does look like this bank holiday weekend could be a washout for many regions, especially further southwards, as we do see low pressure slide in with weather fronts, heavy showers, and even a few thunderstorms in places. Of course, there could be some dry weather here or there, but it's not looking bone dry at all. Many areas, especially in London, associated with the coronation, it's looking like there will be a lot of cloud around. On and off rain through Saturday, and it is not looking good. So the headline figure really through this weekend is a bit of a washout conditions for some regions. As we head into the longer range, though, as we look at the GFS, GM, ECWF, and the ensembles, is continuing to look quite unsettled. So in the longer term, there is a bit of up and down, whether high pressure or low pressure will dominate more. But at least for the foreseeable future, it is looking quite unsettled. Initially a little bit warmer, so this weekend, even though it is quite wet in many areas where you do escape the wet and cloud, it may be a little bit warmer, mid to high teens. But into the longer race, those upper air temperatures might drop back towards average or below average, and it could mean that things are unsettled and pretty cool. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if we do start on the live radar at the moment, you can see it is pretty dry for most regions at the moment. Again, further northwards and eastwards you go, the further you are from this instability and this cloud and rain. Now this will move in and will give some rain and cloud in places. It will move in quite slowly and it should sort of peter away at times, so it won't be too bad. But of course it is rain, it is thicker cloud, so regardless of if you do see the rain, it will bring those temperatures down and it will create worse conditions with that thick cloud moving in. Now I'm recording this around 11 a.m. and the temperatures will of course be starting to get towards the peak of the day, which will be around 1 or 2 p.m. and you can see it's again not a particularly warm day. There's some yellows and some hints of orange, so once again temperatures mid to maybe high teens, maybe 70 or 80 degrees in the best spots in the next few hours. But you can see further northwards and for the south and the west, under more cloud and rain, we're seeing more blues mixing in. Again, temperatures struggling in the high single digits or low teens. Not particularly great. You can see to our south, warm air masses are there. It's just unfortunately we are now starting to see more of a westerly influence. We've still got that warm air aloft, but at the surface, cloud, rain, and slightly cooler undercuts, meaning that at our surface it's not going to be all too warm over the coming days, especially when we see the cloud and rain move in. Now, if you look at the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. Now, you can see for the rest of this afternoon, that rain does move in, sort of peter away at places and makes very slow progress through the rest of this afternoon, but moves through most areas overnight into the early hours of Friday, where it does turn more into patchy areas of rain and showers further southwards. Into tomorrow, it does just give a recipe for heavy showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon. Where the cloud does clear, we see a bit of sunshine and convection really taking off, and that is seen here with those reds appearing, perhaps some convergent zones where we do see opposing winds allowing the air to rise, and we could see some big thunderstorms in places with this. Again, I don't think it will be completely widespread. It will be very much hit and miss, very scattered, but do make sure you keep an eye on the live radar through tomorrow for these storms and showers. No warning issued, so we're not expecting, as I said, anything too severe, but you can see it is looking quite lively perhaps through tomorrow afternoon. Now into Saturday, of course, coronation day, it's not looking great, unfortunately. You can see to our southwest we got rain moving in, and by lunchtime that rain is firmly in control of most of England and Wales, and areas further northwards and westwards, showers and generally thicker cloud. So you can see for the London area there, again nothing too heavy, and again it's coming in scattered rain bands. There could be brief breaks, but it's a generally quite a gloomy, rainy feel out there. As I said, further northwards and westwards, a bit sunnier, lack of cloud there, but of course heavy showers taking off. Through the rest of the afternoon we just see more cloud and rain. It sort of peps up in a few spots, some oranges appearing, so it's quite heavy torrential rain through the rest of Saturday evening into Sunday. Of course, still being in the bank holiday weekend, still more rain and scattered showers around, perhaps Sunday being the best days, but still thick cloud in the north and the east. areas of patchy rain and showers to the south and west of that. As we head into Monday, of course, another day for the bank holiday, and you can see a big weather front moves in. So unfortunately, for many areas, more than even Saturday, a bit of a washout. For England and Wales, completely drenched there. Thick cloud and heavy rain through most of the day. Further northwards and westwards, perhaps less cloud, less rain, but still rain and cloud associated with that. For as we head into Tuesday, perhaps things slightly drier. But this is because we're seeing a westerly flow move in, big low pressure systems, and generally more unsettled conditions. You can see that with that low moving in there early next week. Now, do look at the temperatures. Of course, it will be very much dependent on the cloud and rain amounts. But as I said, the air masses right now are fairly mild. So it will mean where we see less cloud and no rain, it could be fairly warm. You can see today maybe even 18 or 20 degrees showing here. Again, not seeing that on the live radar at the moment. Perhaps it's a bit thicker cloud in the morning and maybe it does accelerate rapidly towards 3 p.m. But it is really only a slither through England and Wales where we're seeing that sort of 18, 19 or 20 degrees. Of course, further northwards, we've got a cooler air mass coming in off the North Sea, and further southwards and westwards, we've got that cloud and rain. As we head into Friday, again, it's going to be very hit and miss in those temperatures on Friday. Again, some areas 19 or 20 degrees, other areas only 13 or 14. And you can see how just the scattered nature of these mid to high teens, it's all because of the heavy showers and thunderstorms will hold those temperatures down, whereas places that do avoid them, or at least avoid them through the peak hours of the afternoon, it will be fairly warm. So again, very hit and miss. As we head into Saturday, unfortunately, those temperatures are going to be pretty dire for many areas of England and Wales. Again, 13 or 14 degrees there under the rain band. Luckily, the air mass is fairly warm still, so it's not going to be the sort of 9 or 10 degrees we were seeing a week or two ago, but still fairly cool, and it will feel cold. Further northwards, to the far northeast, the far west as well, avoiding that rain and cloud, perhaps 17 or 18, but there still is the risk of cloud and rain there at times. Into Sunday, it could be a fairly decent day to the south and the west of that lingering rain in the east. Again, 18, 19, 20 degrees. There will be glimpses of something a bit warmer and drier, but really only in a few regional spots on each day. And finally, into Monday, again, look at that widespread washout there. Many areas of England, Wales and Scotland not getting much above 10 to 14 degrees. Areas further westwards could be 18 or 19, and even there to the south of the Republic of Ireland, maybe 20 or 21. Again, very local. And just shows you if we did see something widely dry, we would be seeing those temperatures widely, 20 to 22 degrees. But because of all of the cloud and the rain and the sort of oscillating air masses, it does mean that we're not going to be seeing any of that for the near future. So we do now have a look at the mid to longer range, look at the latest GFS and see what that is producing over the next the course of the next couple of weeks. Again, you see low pressure sliding in from the southwest, and again, not completely dominating, but throwing weather fronts our way, giving us our washout weekend, and another little low slide through on Monday, giving another widespread soaking. As we head towards day 10, again, we see another quite severe low run by, and more of these lows just gather along the jet stream all the way to day 10. So latest GFS has us very unsettled all the way to day 10, unfortunately. After that, it stays fairly unsettled, especially in the north. High pressure tries to ridge in the south, but not having a lot of luck. And of course, with those air masses coming in from the north and the west, there could be briefly milder air in the south, but elsewhere it could be fairly cool, if not quite cold, especially further northwards. If you do now have a look at the GM, see how that does compare. Again, the southeasterly wind at the moment, low pressure running in off the Atlantic, giving us quite unsettled conditions and keeping us fairly unsettled with a northwesterly breeze all the way to day 10. The only fortunate thing here is the centre of the low is further northwards, so it could mean areas further southwards avoid the heaviest rain and only really have showers. But if you look at that air mass there, -5 out in the North Atlantic, that won't reach the UK, but it's sort of cooler air associated with it will, and that will just be fuel for a weather front. Heavy rain, especially in the north and the west, and just a lot of heavy showers as well with those colliding air masses. So again, GM, slightly different positioning of the jet stream, but very similar in terms of producing pretty cool and unsettled conditions out to day 10. If we look at the ECMWF, again, low pressure sliding in off the Atlantic. High pressure trying to build in, but keeping us fairly unsettled. Eventually, high pressure does build to our north, but it's not going to do all too much for our weather with some traps or lows there, perhaps a little cut-off low developing. Again, slightly cooler air associated with that. Heavy showers, of course, associated with that as well. It's a spiral round, and that would keep us fairly cool and fairly unsettled. Again, we look at the temperature deviation, generally there below average towards day 10. Now, if you finally look at the ensembles, latest GFS ensembles, the midnight run, and you can see around average or above average over the next sort of 5 or 6 days, around to the 8th, maybe 9th of May. Fairly unsettled though, a lot of precipitation, again with those washout conditions this weekend. But as I said, as we saw in the UKV, well, we do avoid that in a few isolated spots, a few regions over the next few days. We could see temperatures around that 20-degree mark. However, right towards around the 10th of May to around the 20th, again, things could change, but the current trend is average to below average upper air temperatures and still very unsettled conditions, not looking great. Again, the 2 meter temperatures not looking great in the longer term, more around that sort of 15, 16-degree mark. And again, that is sort of the average days where we have very wet conditions, or slightly cooler, sunnier conditions, which may be few and far between, slightly milder or warmer. And you can see here, Saturday is not looking great. You see Thursday here, maybe 17 or 18. Friday, maybe again 17 or 18, of course, may depend on showers. But Saturday, because we know it's probably going to be washout in the south and towards the London area, temperature struggling around the 13 or 14-degree mark. And finally, this mean sea level pressure. Generally, you can see in the south, there is a slight trend in the longer term to slightly higher pressure, but slightly higher pressure does not stop all weather fronts and precipitation. It just means that the jet stream could be rising slightly further northwards, shifting the wet conditions that are likely to prevail in the south over the next sort of 3 to 5 days will shift further northwards. And that's what we saw in some of those operational runs. The jet stream shifts slightly further northwards, continues a fairly unsettled spell, but has the majority of the rain, wind and showers further northwards, but not exclusively, of course. If you finish by looking at the ECMWF ensembles, again very similar, next sort of 5 to 7 days, average to above average, quite a lot of precipitation associated with that as well, and then it's long term, average to below average, fairly cool and still high amounts of precipitation. So the only saving grace at the moment is where you do avoid the rain and cloud, it will be fairly warm and potentially quite nice out there. Of course, those breaks in the rain and cloud, especially this weekend, will be few and far between in very isolated areas. But in the longer term, the unfortunate thing with the much cooler upper air temperatures is even when you do avoid the rain and cloud, those temperatures won't rise all too much, probably above the mid-teens. So really not looking great. No sign of anything warm or dry. Could be an isolated 20 degrees here or there the next few days, the next 5 to 7 days, as we do have those warmer upper air temperatures. But as I said, a lot of rain coming this weekend. And unfortunately, I know a lot of people watching this are looking forward to the coronation. There's likely to be a washout. And if you're not looking forward to the coronation and just generally the bank holiday weekend, then again, washout conditions, especially as we head into Monday as well. So not looking great. Things could still change slightly, but at the moment we are not looking good for anything warmer or drier, and looking very unsettled, perhaps milder initially, warmer initially, before turning cooler through the middle of the month. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.